observance, posture, breath control, sense control, concentration, meditation, concentration.
You know, I actually think you know the Sanskrit better than the English.
Yeah.
That's good going, considering a few weeks ago it wasn't that way. So, you see, soon the mind gets used to the language, and once you really get used to the language, you'll say, oh, there's no English word to explain that. That's why you study it in Sanskrit. That's the only reason. You know, there's no other reason. You don't even have, that's why I don't go into all the Sanskrit with you. You know, I tell this story many years ago when I first started yoga, and our master, you know, second trip he came to Gibraltar, and you know, was telling, oh Gurudev, you know, I found a Sanskrit teacher. Don't you think I'm lucky? I finally found a teacher, and I'm going to study Sanskrit. And he said to me, why bother? Why waste your time? Better if you study Spanish and learn to drive. I've learned to drive, I just have to study Spanish now. So while I'm on my treadmill, I use my lingua phone. So I'm trying to study them. So, and you know, practical, that's why I loved my master. He was so practical. Yes, I know the Sanskrit mantras because they really do help me, in the sense of really helping me. But I'm not a language person. I'm not good at languages. So why waste so many hours studying a language? And most people won't understand anyway. So just to show I'm clever. So I thought it was a brilliant, brilliant teaching. That's why I love this master. It would be more practical in life, you know. What's the point of trying to show off with the Sanskrit? And again, I had another great lesson. Once I was speaking in the Far East, and this holy man came, asked my sister if he could see me. So I was really very touched before the talk, so he came in to see me. And I said, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? Because you know, you feel really happy when you see a holy person. At least I feel really happy when I see a holy person. Anyway, he started to talk to me. He said, oh, you know, I need your help. I want to build a school. And the school should be only for people of very high caliber who come from only the best yogi families, and we should call it Gurukulam, which is a school for spiritual studies, and only for them, and we need money for that. And so I looked at him and I go, but that's the antithesis of yoga. Everybody should be included. You know, Ramana Maharishi was an illiterate, and he was one of the greatest scholars of all time. And I'm sorry, I don't agree with this. Sounds like separation to me. I said, forgive me. So anyway, he started quoting the Gita, and in Sanskrit, to me. And then I go, I'm really sorry. I said, I don't really, I haven't learned the Gita in Sanskrit. I do it really well in English, you know. And he was able to show me how much knowledge he had. And so I said to him, look, I cannot help you in this project. And why do you need me if you're such a holy man? You can find other people. And he says to me, but you have the gift of the gab, and I need you to raise the money for me. That's what he told me. So I said, I'm not interested. No, I said I wasn't interested. What did I learn at that point? You know, sometimes you're so taken by people who are supposed to be holy, and you know, I'm always taken. I'm much stronger these days, And you know, you just, oh, just because they're spiritual, they have to, you know everything. And a few years prior to meeting this guy, if someone had spoken to me in Sanskrit and spoken like that with all this intelligence, I would probably say, I don't know anything. You know, how can I be here giving a talk to hundreds of people when I don't know anything? Because I have a big audience in the East. So he said, so I would have done that, but because Gurudev had said that one-liner to me, that one-liner, I felt, you know, no sorrow that I couldn't quote everything in Sanskrit perfectly. I could just quote what was needed for the situation. Just what was important for my growth. And all the rest I could throw away. So all the showing off to me, sorry, I didn't really mean to say something bad about that holy man, which for me didn't appear too holy. I realize that many teachers, and you're going to be the best teachers of all of you, decide to teach this, I hope, never use your skills. If you're given skills, maybe some of you will be brilliant at Sanskrit, I don't know. Maybe you have a talent and then you should use it, I don't. But never use your skills to make somebody else feel worse, okay? Always make people feel good about themselves. Anyway, with the interesting thing was he called me in every day while I was there. And I said, no, look, for me, God is everywhere with everyone. I help, get money for you, you build a school, but everybody's invited to learn on spirituality. Of course, he didn't agree with me. Which goes back to another story that I had many years ago when I started on this path. You will find you are very tempted. People will come to you. I was offered actually to build a place in Marbella many years ago. This is even before I moved to Spain. A very wealthy man came to our center in Gibraltar and said, look, I want to open this center for you. I have the money, but I don't have the knowledge. I've come to your talks a couple of times, and I would love you to come and open a center for me and run it. So I thought, how nice. I can, more spread the knowledge, right? And then we started talking, and we were talking about all different techniques, etc., explaining to him about the Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali. And then he said, yes, and then we will only invite the movie stars and the extremely only wealthy. And I said, I'm very happy to do that if you also allow in any soul that is hungering and thirsting for knowledge. And those that can't afford, get it free. Let the rich pay for the poor. I love the idea. It's perfect, perfect plan. And no. I said, how can I teach you? How can I talk about yoga if I do that? Then I'll talk about it as a business. It's a business. You want me to open a business. I'm not interested in a business. I left my business to teach yoga. Yoga is not a business. It's something that is within you. It's our birthright. It's our gift. It's not a business. I'm not saying it's wrong. I've met yoga teachers here make money from it. It's not wrong. It's great. As long as you don't make that the goal. Make peace your goal, and your classes will grow. And I always tell people who are young and making money from yoga classes, at least they're doing something better. What I always tell them is, if you have somebody who can't afford it, give those people free. Make your living, but don't be greedy. Because this is a wonderful knowledge just to give freely. But if you can't, and you want to do this work as a living, then do it as a living, but do it for all. Serve all, because your rewards will be different. Don't be frightened. Don't be frightened of trusting the divine. Self-surrender, Ishvara Pranidhanam, we're going to talk about it today. And I see so many teachers stuck in fear of losing their students. If you lose them, good, you're free time. You can do more work, other work. There's so much work to do in this world. Never fear losing anything. Never, because that, again, silver cage, gold cage, still a cage. What do you want? Peace and freedom. And so, this is why Sri Patanjali gives us all this, for discriminative discernment. And that's why I'm telling you these stories. You will be tempted all the time, to go the other way. But then, of course, once you go the other way and somebody controls you with money, we will come to it again, and you'll know why I talked about it now when we cover non-greed or non-stealing. Once somebody is paying you a huge amount of money, guess what? You become their prisoner. Freedom gone. And then you have to work for them all the time, and you have to reach targets, and stress. Antithesis of yoga. Do you see how we get caught again and again and again and again in life? So I was very lucky. I had a day job, which I worked really hard in. My evenings were dedicated to teaching, and I think I was very blessed to do that. But I did have a full day job when I first started teaching until my children went to university. So this is nothing to be ashamed of, and it just makes you feel more comfortable with life, and you get very peaceful by doing things the proper way. You just do develop a lot of peace. So then we covered the 8 limbs of yoga, and today we go to Sutra. I think it's
817. 817.
Thank you. Okay, we didn't do 30 just now. Okay, now we do yama. What does yama consist of? Yama. Ahimsa. What does ahimsa mean?
Non-violence.
Second one? What does it mean?
Truthfulness.
We had some nice talks on truthfulness the other day, yeah? Really nice. Next one? Non-stealing. Brahmacharya, continence, celibacy, or I like to use the word moderation because there are no monks in this room. So moderation in everything we do. It's just not in the sexual act, it's in everything you do. Moderation. And 5? What does that mean? Okay, very good. 31. These great vows are universal, not limited by class, place, time, or circumstances. And there he tells us again. It's universals for everyone. So, hence my answer. You see, this is where the background of study gives you a firm ground. So when somebody comes to tempt you and offer you the world, but remember, when they offer you the world, they want something back in return. Huh? So when somebody comes to tempt you, remember this answer. It's not limited to any class, time, place, or circumstances. So always remember that. Niyama. Let's go to Niyama now. Sutra 32. Niyama consists of purity. What's the Sanskrit word? Let's go Sanskrit first. Socha means
Purity.
Santosha,
Contentment.
tapas, accepting pain and not causing it in return. Swadhyaya, Ishwara. Now everybody say this one. Ishwara, Pranidhanam. Again, Ishwara, Pranidhanam. Again, okay, so we're a bit rusty here, so we start with the Sanskrit again. Socha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishwara Pranidhanam. Okay, and in English? Purity,
Contentment. Accepting study of spiritual books and worship of God.
Correct. Good. You people are good. So we'll keep repeating every week till your pronunciation is good. Okay, 33 you all have to memorize. Well, all these sutras that we've been studying, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, you all need to know quite well, all right? And 33 says very simply, I love this one. When disturbed by negative thoughts, opposite positive ones should be thought of. This is called Pratipaksha Bhavana. Can you all say it?
Pratipaksha Bhavana.
33. Okay? When disturbed by negative thoughts, opposite positive ones should be thought of. Okay, now many times all of us have negative thoughts, right, in our minds. And I love Pratipaksha Bhavana. And what happens with most people, the workings of the mind is most people have a negative thought and they play, I shouldn't think negative. Oh my God, why am I thinking negative? Oh, I'm a bad person. And the more you do it, the more it rolls and the more it magnifies and the worse you feel. Sri Patanjali tells us simply, when a negative thought comes, replace it immediately by a positive one. Now, I've worked with a lot of people on phobias without training, just on this one sutra. And it is amazing how it works. I remember once somebody came to me with fear of needles, and she had to have an operation. She was petrified, and she didn't know how to go to her operation, so she came to see me. So we started with, I started with a safety pin. I wasn't scared of a safety pin, it was fine. And I showed her a safety pin, and I said, look, it looks like the top of a needle, hold it, she got to hold it. So I said, now I want you to get that safety pin and think of, what do you think of? Babies, nappies, right? People think like nice thoughts, so she starts smiling, laughing. Association, positive, not negative, not poking, not sore, not pain. So anyway, we did that. The next time I got from a doctor an actual, injection, and I showed it to her. Ah! I said, okay, associated with healing, with making you better, with beautiful things. I can't. Okay, no problem, we'll take that away. So subconsciously, I tell me about, what her hobbies are, what she really likes, her favorite movies. So she's starting to talk to me about all these things, and gently, I hold the syringe in my hand, like this, with a needle. She's still talking. She hasn't noticed. She hasn't panicked, right? So I hold it higher, and then I told her, look, you're not panicking. What's the difference? What has happened here? You're associating all these good thoughts. So while you're in these good thoughts, this one can't affect you. With children, the same. Instead of telling a child, don't do that, and they'll do that, because you told them don't do that, what do? You introduce something better to them. They're getting naughty, throwing all the food. Hey, here's a ball. Do you want to play with the ball? You distract them. You tell them don't do it, they will argue with you all the time. Every time you tell them, they'll do something different. You distract them by giving them an opposite positive thought. So this is how we work with phobias, our own phobias, So if you, for example, many years ago when I used to smoke, I didn't smoke very long or very much, but I did smoke. And I thought, I don't even want to have one cigarette, because how can I tell my children not to smoke if I'm smoking? It makes me a hypocrite. I wouldn't do it. I know it's bad for me. I know we were brought up in an era, in my era, who remembers all those ads, Mary, do you remember? Television, have a menthol. Your cold will be healed. Lies. What is that called according to Sri Patanjali? Who remembers? Modification of the mindset. Verbal delusion. Brilliant. See, verbal delusion. So nowadays we know that, cigarette does harm your chest, etc., etc. So, so I said I had to stop. So how to stop? I tried years before and I couldn't. First of all, I read Gandhi. The book Gandhi, his autobiography. I thought, he's given up so much, I can't even give up cigarettes for my children. I must be the most selfish person in the world. So he was my inspiration. Then what I did with myself, and this is even before Sri Patanjali, because I did take behavior modification when I studied psychology in university. So I thought, okay, every time I see a cigarette, I'm going to see a dirty ashtray. I'm going to see it so smelly, so stinky. I'm going to see that all these awful ashes are in my body, and I stink, and I smell awful. And the next thing I started to visualize that I was going to throw up because it was so smelly. I did this for 3 months, every day. And really, on a Sunday, when I told my husband, I'm quitting, he goes, sure, no more. That's it. And I quit. Never looked back again. Because every time I saw a cigarette, I thought, cancer drop, it's a cancer sweet. I thought dirty ashes, and I felt like throwing up. I actually made myself physically ill. So this way, I'm using the opposite, right? Totally opposite. Because I did enjoy cigarettes, so I made it so that I saw it at its worst. And after that, it was brilliant. It was so easy, and I never looked back. So you use the opposite. See, most people, what I have learned in these 20 years of counseling, is when they, when they have something negative, they just keep going on with the same thing again and again and again. So, for me, visual is very important in my mind. Everybody is different. Some people are better with listening. They're better with the ears. For me, visual, sound, and pictures are very important. So what I did was, whenever I had a negative thought, especially, when my first grandchild was born 12 years ago, I would just think of her, the baby, and it made me so happy. Prior to that, I'd think of the great masters. It made me so happy. You know, what makes you happy? Some people say the sea makes them happy. Think of the sea. Just have a really strong picture in your mind. So when the negative thought comes up, wow, beautiful picture. Later on, I learned the magic of having the picture and having the mantra. I had both. And that worked really well for me. Having the picture, having lights and sound, right? Had my own, kaleidoscope movie in my brain going on every time a negative thought came in. And I realized very quickly with that practice, much of the unnecessary negative thoughts left. They dwindled away. The stronger ones, the more deep-rooted ones, the one that were full of hurt, or somebody hurt you a lot in your life, those were a little bit more difficult. Past experience that caused a great trauma, that took a little longer. And I realized that, that took it didn't just take 2 months. Maybe you do the practices and for 3 months you feel great. It doesn't come up again. It just doesn't. And you think, oh, I've forgotten it, I've forgiven it. And then suddenly one day you get up and all the anger comes up and all the fear comes up and you go, oh my God, I'll never be able to conquer this. No, you will. It's just burning. And because it's so deep rooted, it takes a few years sometimes. I had one particular negative thought that took me nearly 6 years to really work at forgiving and letting go by thinking positive. And Sri Patanjali tells us later on, that falling from ground gained is normal. So don't beat yourself up when you fall from ground gain. You think you've achieved so much peace, and then suddenly next day you lose your temper, all the bad habits come up again. No, pick yourself up. Think of a toddler, how they are so beautiful. How many times do they fall? How many times do they fall before they learn to walk? So trust yourself. Don't be fearful of yourself. Just know that one day you will achieve it. As you think,
You become.
So if you think, I can't, this is too hard, what will happen? You can't, it will be too hard. Yes, it is difficult, but not impossible. Keep that in your mind. That will see you through the most difficult rides you have in your life. Yes, it is difficult, but it's not impossible. And of course, Sri Patanjali tells us that you have to practice for a
Long time without a break and always.
You see how you're getting the information now? Do you see how it's filtering into your soul and to your subconscious? You're starting to understand deep within you that these truths are very real. So, when disturbed by negative thoughts, opposite positive ones should be thought of. This is called, again, Pratipaksha Bhavana. Again, Pratipaksha Bhavana. And this is one of your greatest tools in life. Greatest tools in life. Use it all the time. Have something really nice, solid stuck in your mind. Also when working with phobias. Oh, I forgot to finish the story of the girl with the needles, didn't I? What happened? She was fine after 1 month. She was fine. She finally held the syringe in her hand. She actually put the needle on her skin herself, like that. And finally, when she was ready, there was no more problems with needles. She had her operation. She came back to me and she said, yeah, it worked. So, you feel so happy. Sometimes you have children who have great fears. Teach them the same. Children who have recurring nightmares. This is another thing that I'd like to tell you about. There's a lot of children today with recurring nightmares. And what I teach them to do is Pratipaksha Bhavana. So when they get up and have all their friends or things they like around them that make them feel safe. Make them feel safe and happy and right. And think of something funny. Because children love to laugh. Something funny. And keep that in their head. I had a young boy with terrible nightmares and he loved football. I said, what do you love most in the world? I think he must have been 8 years old. And he said, football. And he had this recurring dream, which came after his parents had split. So obviously I knew the cause. It was so deep-rooted and so painful for him that his dream was always like he's going to be left alone, you know, and a thief is going to take him away. You see, subconsciously what is told him. He was fearful of being alone, so he used to have those nightmares that the thief is going to take him away and there's nobody going to look after him. So I told him to think of all the football stars that he loved and to plaster all of them around the room because he could understand that language. Do you see? So he got up, when he got up with his nightmare, he'd think of all these football stars and his favorite football game. And really after 5 or 6 times, no more nightmares. And then, once the nightmares were over, then obviously I told his mother was the disturbance of he was feeling very insecure. And these nightmares would reoccur, they would reoccur, unless he felt secure again. So both father and mother, even though separated, had to reassure the child that he was safe. And that's what they started to do, both of them. And then the nightmares will go away permanently. So first you deal with the immediate problem, which is the nightmares. You know, many of you have family, many of you have children. I think it's really important to have this kind of information so you can help your own children, your own families, your nieces, your nephews, friends of friends, because so many people today need help. I have never met so many children who have nightmares as I have met today. So a great sense of insecurity around. And for those who are spiritual, you know, many of them are not brought up with nowadays, which I think is a bit scary, any version of a divine power or God. And they get very, very lost and very, very panicky, and they develop all kinds of problems because of that. So, you know, I introduce God to them in the form of their parents, the first guru, the love in their heart, and how they feel when they love their friends, and how good they feel when they, you know, they do something good. So I instill God in them that way. And I teach them prayer by praying do they believe? And many children, you know, one child said to me, I said, do you believe? And he said, I don't believe there's a God, but there is a force. So I said, make force your God. That force can help you. You've been watching Star Wars, haven't you? So, you know, make that force your God. And sometimes, you know, with children, they're so easy, they're so lovely. I used to have a whole collection of crystals. I still do have a few. And I give them a little crystal on their hand. I tell them it's a magic crystal. And to put it under their pillow. And when they're scared, to hold that crystal. And they'll be so looked after. So many will come back and say they carry the crystal everywhere with them. Isn't it easy to you know? Children are so simple. So they just feel safe. They feel safe. You need them to feel safe. So any questions on Pratipaksha Bhavana? Okay, clear? So that's why I tell you. Oh, can you show them that? That makes me laugh.
How many years?
I don't know how many years is that crystal. 6 years ago or something?
Yeah.
Is it 5 years or 6 years?
It was a girl in the Sangha, a woman in the Sangha who was going to get married, and she had all these hearts ordered for the guests, and then they broke up just before the marriage, and she was left with all the hearts.
Oh.
So she gave it out, and I promised I would carry it.
Yeah, it was great. I saw Kali in Portugal. Yeah, she's in Portugal now. Yeah, she's doing well.
Yeah,
She looked well. She looked really well and really happy. So it was really nice to see her. She's fine now. She's got a new boyfriend.
Good.
Yeah, so she's okay.
Can I leave the heart now?
We'll wait till she's hooked and cooked, okay? When negative, 34, Sutra 34. When negative thoughts or acts such as violence are caused to be done, or even approved of, whether incited by greed, anger, or infatuation, whether indulged in with mild, medium, or extreme intensity, They are based on ignorance and bring certain pain. Reflecting thus is also Pratipaksha Bhavana. Okay, this is a mouthful, but it's really very, very simple. Sri Patanjali says there's another method of changing the way you think. There's another way to go about it. And that's on reflecting, remembering. When you did this, that happened. And here he goes, when negative thoughts or acts such as violence are caused to be done or approved of. He's now even not only talking of our direct confrontation with violence, it's other people's confrontation with violence. For example, when somebody is upset with you and violent and swear, etc., and you remember that you swear back at them, or you get really upset and you cry, bring that memory up to your mind the next time you're about to get angry or repeat that negative thought or action. Remember how it left you feeling. Remember that. Remember, if I say this, I know whether that person is violent with me or not, if I retaliate, it's going to make me feel awful. Because I remember from my past, every time I did that, I didn't feel good about myself. So I'm not going to go down that road again. Remembering, reflecting. Now, sometimes when somebody does something negative, and this is even more subtle, and we don't like it, we know it's wrong, and we don't have the courage to say what we feel. And this has happened, Nirvana, remember your story about work? You should tell that now. It's a good time to tell that story. When you know something is wrong, and you say this is wrong, and people approve of that wrong, Sri Patanjali says, you just by approving of that wrong, you are taking part in it as well. And you know that if something is wrong and you don't say it's wrong and you allow it to pass, you don't feel good about yourself, do you? You don't. You realize, you wish, you get angry, you wish you were stronger, you wish you could have done something more. So don't even approve of the negative. And many spiritual people will use their spirituality and say, oh, forgive them. No! You don't forgive like that. You forgive everybody on a large scale. Yes, in your heart you forgive them, but you don't condone a negative behavior. This is where weakness comes in. As yogis, we are strong. If you look at all the great spiritual masters, they did not condone behavior like that. Look at Lord Jesus when he went to the temple and he saw that everybody outside was it was commercial. They were all selling, it still goes on today, selling all the things to make money from God. He got so angry, he took the table and threw it in fury, right? Because they were taking the name of the Lord thy God in vain. So, he was making a point there. This is about business. This has nothing to do with God. You don't care. It's all about money. It's not about the real truth. So when we sometimes condone something negative, we really know in our hearts that's not right. And then we feel very uncomfortable. Sri Patanjali says, use this as a reflection so that you don't condone again. If you are not strong enough to confront it, better not to be there, better to walk away, and then say, look, I don't want anything to do with this, and walk away. But don't witness a negative behavior and let it go by, because it doesn't make you feel good about it at all. And he said it doesn't matter the reason. It could be because somebody else's greed. If somebody is greedy and you encourage their greed, that's really not right also. And many people do that. For example, I had some very wealthy friends. I've had many wealthy friends all throughout my life, because I was brought up with wealth with my father. So I had lots of wealthy friends, and it was normal, wealthy, not wealthy. My dad never made a difference. He had the poorest at home, and he had the richest of the richest at home. So I had a really good example. But I had seen many people, once they knew that person was wealthy, incited by greed, they suddenly want to make friends with them. And I really never liked that. You know, because I thought, oh my God, if they didn't have anything, they just wouldn't even be talking with this person. You don't even like the quality of the person, because I would know what they want. And I would tell them, you know, these were some of even people that I knew, my friends, and I would go, this is really wrong. You're only talking to them because of their money, or because of what position they hold in life. This is not based on true friendship. You are using somebody, but of course many times they don't listen. And I see that that relationship finishes off in a lot of pain, a lot of struggle, a lot of anger. I've seen this many, many times in my life. So any relationship that is, you know, is incited by greed, you can see it's not a successful ending. I've seen it so many times in my life. So don't approve of something like that, because you will get involved in that too. You will get involved, and that will push you, and then the result will be bad for you. So be aware of all these things. And he tells you, whether even in a small degree, if you do these things, they will affect your peace. And when you reflect on all these things that might affect your peace, you know, all these things that might affect your peace, then you'll say, you know what, I'm not going down this road again. I'm not going to take this path again. And that's what Sri Patanjali says. That's another way of practicing Pratibhaksha Bhavana. Looking at your past, all the actions that made you feel uncomfortable, and remembering that, and then you won't want to go there again. And Moran, in Nirvana, you want to tell your story, the one you told us in Gibraltar?
Yeah, I'll keep it.
Do you want to
short.
stay? Keep it short, and you can stay here so they can see your face, and you, poor girl, you don't have to twist your neck.
I was working in a big company many years ago, and we had a very nice manager. It was a personnel department. Very nice manager. She left. She had a better position, so she left. We got a new manager. Awful person. Well, we thought it was an awful person. Very aggressive, very controlling, power addicted, and it started to affect our department. We didn't like our work so much. We were getting paranoid about everything. She started to look at everybody's work and telling us off in front of everyone, so also very humiliating. And after a while, I asked my colleagues, we have to do something about it because it's affecting us, our quality of work, the way we are representing ourselves as a department. And they said, yes, something has to be done, something has to be done. I said, okay, well, I will take the lead, but you have to back me up. I said, you have to promise you back me up, otherwise, you know, it's just me there and it won't have any effect. Yes, no problem, we'll back you up, absolutely. So then the day came, and we all sat in the meeting, and I addressed the issue, and to this manager, and she looked at me, and she asked the others, is this really true? And the others started to look away, and they were like not really participating and looking at the ceiling. So there I was alone, and nobody backed me up, and that got me in a lot of trouble. So in the end I got fired. The others stayed along, and it was a court case, everything. I won the court case because there was nothing against me, but I lost my job. It wasn't a good job. So after a while, I bumped into someone else and said, oh, how did it all end for that department? They said, well, actually, after you left, other people started to back up your story. And after a few months, the manager had to leave. So I was sort of sacrificing my job, but for a greater cause, I guess, in the end, because the manager went. So that was
Thank you.
That was
So that action will always encourage you to be brave in your life. Sometimes, you know, this is why we said in yoga, you know, do the right action without any expectations. Sometimes the result can be really bad, but long term, if you do the right action, you get the good result. Long term. Sometimes short term, you don't. Yes.
Can I just ask you a question? You know, when you're saying that you're observing something that, you know, somebody is doing wrong and you don't feel good about it and you should hop in. But I mean, are you then judging the person?
No, this is where discriminative discernment comes in life, and this is why I think it's so important to have the teaching. You have to make certain judgments in this life, otherwise this world will be chaotic. Just as they are worldly laws, they are spiritual laws, right? Now, if somebody is doing something wrong, it is very clear, it is wrong, right? Are you judging them? It is wrong. What are you judging? The action. You are not judging them. You are judging the action. So, that's why in yoga it's so important to love everyone. To love everyone. To know that everybody basically is divine. But their minds, not everyone has a clear mind. Even all the great saints and sages say, if you look at all of their works, they all say, keep away from those people that are evil. Don't be in their energy field. Are you judging them? Are they judging them? Is Lord Jesus judging them when he says when somebody doesn't, see things the way you do and they're not willing to listen to the truth, walk out of the house and even, shake the dust off your feet? Is he judging them? Was he judging the fig tree when the fig tree didn't produce fruit and he said, you're not doing your job? No, it wasn't judging. It was just stating a fact. When you're judging, it's very emotional. Oh, we did this wrong. When you are stating a fact, if somebody punches somebody, the fact is that it's a wrong action. Is it judging? You have to judge at that point, to a certain level. You have to. Because this world would be chaotic. There would be murders running around, people looting everywhere, and the world will be destroyed. So we have to take some responsibility. That's why we have laws. So, if somebody is doing something wrong, watch the action. Don't judge the person. Like Jesus said, judge the sin, not the sinner. And when you start to learn to do that, and that will only come in time. That doesn't come quickly, and that doesn't come easy. That's why I love Sri Patanjali, because he said, by the practice of the 8 limbs of yoga, the impurities dwindle away, there dawns a light of wisdom, leading to discriminative discernment. Sometimes people are saying they're not judging. I have seen this. And they are judging by the way the reaction is. And sometimes they are judging and everybody's getting angry with them, and I think they're not judging. They're just making a comment. If you can kind of think of it as a mother with a child or a father with a child, when a child does something wrong and you don't correct it, are you saying your child is bad? No. You're saying the action of the child is wrong. If a parent doesn't correct it, what will happen to that child? End up a spoiled brat, miserable, never happy all his life. So we have to make certain judgments to bring people to their best, to their most purest. Have you understood? Have I answered you?
Yeah, absolutely. But I just find, I suppose, in my life personally, that I'm often very uncomfortable in situations that are happening, and everybody else seems to be very comfortable.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
And I just kind of think, oh God, here we go again. Now do I have to hop in there or do I hop out? So
you know what? You hop out if you're uncomfortable. Until you get so strong, then it doesn't bother you whether you're hopping in or hopping out. Yeah. Initially, you hop out. Do you know, I used to give the example, I remember in my early days, when I was much younger, and, we used to go to these parties, and, you get dressed, and you go out, and you really get excited, you go out, but then everybody's gossiping, everybody's not very nice, and then, you dress up all evening to look nice, you come back, 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, you find yourself arguing with your husband because this one said that one and that one said that one. And then next weekend you'll go to another party because we're the same thing again, right? And when I started yoga, I thought, what on earth am I doing? Repeating the same story. And then, we would disagree. Somebody would be flirting with my husband and he wouldn't see it. And I go, this, and then he would think somebody's flirting with, I didn't eat this anymore. I thought, I told my husband, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to live a simple life. This is just too much for me. I don't want to be so. And thank God he felt the same way. He said, yeah, you know, we really don't. We're so happy on our own. And then we started to get more involved with our children, our work. There was so much work to do. And when I started the yoga practices, I was so busy in this. So in the beginning, I lost a lot of my friends. A lot of what I called my friends. But that was okay. Because I had to, I really understood it. I wasn't even angry with them. I just realized that I had changed. And they weren't ready to change, and that's absolutely okay. Actually, I was quite grateful. I remember one time my husband said, oh, they never invite us anyway. I said, yes! I don't have to say no. And I don't have to lie. And I'm really happy, you know. Thank God, let them enjoy themselves. You know, I really don't want to be there. So, but then and because I had to walk away from them, and they had to walk away from me, and which was really, you know, they really made it easy. They walked away from me. They called me goody goody, or, you know, goody two shoes, whatever. Fine, it doesn't matter. I was quite happy with it. Hypocrite, whatever they wanted to, you know, didn't matter. It was really important I maintain my peace, right? So what happened is, in the beginning, I had to stay away. And that was fine. And many years later, they're all my friends again. And they've changed. And because they've seen that my life has brought me to a very rich place. And isn't it really nice? I see them all coming to a really rich place. But we had to have that distance for them to see whether what I was doing was working for me or not, or what, you know. And so sometimes you just have to walk away from a situation when it's too hot to get yourself free. No, don't jump when you're not ready. When you're strong, you can go into any party. Now I can walk into any party and it doesn't disturb me. Do you know? I don't like it, I walk out. Very easy. It's no big deal. But it's not a big deal. And that's the transition you make as you study the science. It goes so deep. Yes. Please ask. I like this.
No, it's funny that you should bring the example from party, because that's exactly what happened on Saturday night. And we were there, and I thought, what am I doing here? And I watched everybody.
I think we all go the same. We all go the same.
You know, and it's like, okay, we've had the same old talk all the time before, and I'd like to do it all again. And I got my husband's eye, and I said, come on. And he went, okay. So we said, we're just going for a dance, and I did this, and he did that. And we said, we'll leave quietly, and I'll give my thanks the following day. But the funny thing that happened was the automatic gates closed. And we were now stuck in this party. And I said, if I go back in and say, well, we were trying to sneak out, but the gates are closed, and we can't get out. So we see this wall, and he says, come on. I said, I can't get over the wall. I did.
How much fun! You see how it was hilarious.
Yeah, he was part of the whole night.
You see, this is what you do, and you know, and if you know, and then you. But the thing, everything starts changing, because when you change, you get invited to the parties that are more deep, more meaningful, more fun, more in line with the type of thinking you are in, and you start to attract a different kind of people in your life. And really, my life has been so enriched, by all the wonderful souls I've met when I started on this path, you know. Many spiritual people, I don't know where they came from. You know, it really is, you attract them, including my master. When I made the decision, the first decision to, you know, and when I said, is there a God? If there is a God, you gotta answer me. The very first command I made that day, you know, I commanded that if there was a God, he would answer me. Otherwise, you don't want to be good. And guess what? Next day, call from my master. Hello, from his secretary. Nalanie, Gurudev is coming to Zinal. Can he come to see you in Gibraltar? Do you know, when the student is ready, the master appears. The master can be in any form these days. You never know. So always get in a book, you know, and anywhere. We don't know where the master can appear from. So when you make the call, you get it. And you know, all these things that, you know, prior to having Sri Patanjali and using it as my guidebook, I mean, this is why I like you to memorize it, not because you need to, but I think it's so good when you're in trouble. The early days of my practice, sorry, this is negative, this is positive, da da da. In the early days, now it's automatic. Now it's like right away. And is so nice, and there's no guilt and there's no judging. That's for them. It's really for them, but it's not for me. I have to be truthful to me. At the end of the day, you die alone. You're not going to spend your life pleasing people all the time. And then the moment you walk out the door, you know they're saying all sorts of things about you anyway. So why are you there?
But then if they're truthful friends, and for many years, even though that's my experience, you go apart because you want to grow in your spiritual life, and you don't see yourself doing the same as they're doing because you see it wrong. Then, and when the years go by, they start coming towards you again and trying and accommodate to what you're thinking of being peaceful and having a nice quiet dinner or going for a walk instead of all those parties. And so that's what my friends are doing.
I know, you've changed a lot of people by you changing. You know, you saved a marriage. She saved a marriage just by watching her change. A lot of them now. She saved a lot. She's got, just by her changing, a lot of people have come off drugs and things or want a better way of living. So one person changes, you know, because they were in quite a wild crowd, am I right? You told me the other day. And she stepped out. You see, nothing is bad. There's a reason why she was there. So when she stepped out of the wildness and found the peace, there's still no wildness, and looking at her and go, oh, she's happy, now she's peaceful, and I'm agitated, and have all these problems, you know. Even one of her friends went to prison, you know. And then she goes, just a few, okay, a few. Well, the one I know, you know, and it's made a total transformation. And he knew where to come to ask to make that transformation. It goes to her, I said, Chandra, I need to change. So when she made an appointment to see me, and then we came to the classes and the talks, but she was the key. If she hadn't changed, all these people would not have changed. So it's really very interesting how one person's peace and one person's strength to walk away from that which is negative, to have the power, to have the courage, to follow your instinct. It's not judging. It's just knowing something in you is telling you that's not what you want with your life. Is that judging? They want it fine. That must be the attitude. Now, if you walk away and you say, you know, they're horrible people, I don't know why they're doing that, then you're judging. It's not for me. Let it be. They will learn in their own time, but it's not for me. That's the only thing you can do. It's not right for me. It doesn't sit right. I'm not happy. I don't want to argue with my husband every weekend because of somebody else. You know? Don't want to do that anymore. It's not worth it. So good questions. This is the whole idea of these teacher training, that you go very deep into these simple things. Because for me, that was a very difficult one. Judge the sin, not the sinner.
Excuse me.
Yes.
We had that same situation as well. We kept going to all these parties and I didn't enjoy it at all. But the lady lives above me, so we bump into her all the time. We have parties all the time. So they kept asking us, and eventually you kind of run out of excuses, and you don't want to lie. I mean, what would you do in that situation?
Oh, I've done that.
Right.
You know, I said, you know, please forgive me. Maybe I'm just changing. I said, I'm changing. I just, you know, I'm not really so interested in parties. I love you, but I'm, you know, I really just like my quiet time at home. I like, after working a whole day, to cuddle up with my husband in front of a TV and just watch a film with him, or to make him a nice dinner. Please forgive me. I'm changing. That's it. The truth. The total truth. It's the easiest way. If you tell a lie, you're always like, hitting yourself. What can I tell? What's the next one? What's the next? Total truth. Sorry. Now, even today, I get invited to many things that I know that are going to not, you know, not something I, you know, if it's a friend, I'd love to do it for a friend, but something I'm not interested in. And I'll tell them, no, please forgive me. You know, I'm so busy. I travel so much with my work. I just love being at home when I can. I'm so little at home. I'm always doing something. It's like to sit still. This is my night off, you know? So people are very nice. You know, nobody gets angry these days at me because they know I'm really telling the truth. Now, they ask me, I'll say, but you know what? I'm really happy to go for lunch with you one-to-one. No problem, because that's not wasting my time. I get to know someone, find out what they're all about, and you have a really deep and meaningful conversation, you know? And that's how I do it. You know, I'm really happy to sit with you and we can go for a cup of tea or something. Yeah? And that's how you do it really nicely, really true. People love the truth, I've noticed. And if they get offended, then you tell them, I'm sorry I hurt you, I don't mean to. Full stop. As simple as that. Don't defend yourself, don't try to make it right. Say, oh, you were a snob, okay, sorry I offended you. That's it, I'm sorry I hurt you. So simple. So simple. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just wanted to do something for me that made me feel comfortable.
They probably won't understand.
Doesn't matter.
You're a bit lonely, but
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
very
That's
simple.
also
Yeah.
everything boring.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
But doesn't
you know
matter.
yourself and you know
Well,
what
actually,
you want.
It's simple, but it requires strength.
Yes, that's why I say
And
yes.
you need to know why. So in the end, you start focusing on why you're doing it, why you're saying no, because your peace is more important than.
Absolutely,
But it does
absolutely.
take strength. It does take.
It definitely takes strength, but
Because
you're
they're
not hurting.
probably friends from a long time, and it's.
But so long as you tell them very clearly, it's not about them. It is about you. You see, that's the difference. If they're thinking, I don't want to go to this party, she thinks she's better than us, wrong. Then they're feeling you are judging them. No. We don't have the right. That's their dharma. That's their road to walk. Then, of course, they're going to feel bad. But if you're telling truthfully, it's not about you. It's just that we have changed. I really have never had problems with that. Sometimes they tease me and say, oh, you're just a bit of a fuddy-duddy or whatever. And I go, yeah, what can I do? You know? What can I do? This is the way I am.
Yeah, that's the only bit really, because
Yeah.
they end up thinking that you're boring.
That's right, that's
what it
fine.
is, as long as you don't mind what they think
Oh,
about
I
you.
don't mind. I'm really
That's
quite
why.
happy.
So
I don't
it's just,
mind
well,
that.
not asking you because I know you're going to say no.
What the other.
Yeah. You know, I really am quite happy because then they don't take it badly for them. Because I don't want to cause harm to anyone. I really don't. Now, my heart, I don't like to cause people pain. So if they think I'm boring, I'm quite happy. I don't mind if people cause me pain. No big deal. I don't feel the pain. I'm quite happy being boring. See, it's knowing yourself. It's like you said, being strong enough, knowing what you want, knowing what is your priority, and knowing that you are not judging them. You have to also be really clear in your heart that you're not judging them.
That's a sense control as well, because you're having to stay strong and not be pulled.
That's total
Out
non-attachment, yeah. Sense of pratyahara. Absolutely. Doesn't matter if they think I'm boring. What can you do? Some people love you, some people think you're this and that. You can't live your life just, stuck on those things. You never grow then. Okay, so we go to Sutra 35. Good, I'd like to hear this in the teacher training because the teacher training is precisely to go through, these are great truths that have to be applied to everyday life. No point to study them if you can't apply them to your life. So it's great when you come up with, thank you very much for bringing them up. Okay, the next one. In the practice of one firmly established in non-violence, all hostilities cease. And really, when you start to change in your life, people say bad luck, bad luck, bad luck, bad luck, and then good luck, bad luck, who knows, which is the real truth, we don't know what is good luck or bad luck. But I really, and I notice when you observe the people who have bad luck, you look, Buddha says, if you want to know your present, look at your past. If you want to know your future, look at your present. And we say, oh, I'm not lucky in my job, I was so bad, I'm so unlucky in the work I do. And I look, and I say, what have you done for your job? Many times I've seen it. Have you given your job love? Have you spent time? No, they sit in the office, playing their games, and then they lose the job. Oh, I'm so unlucky. Of course, the first person they're going to fire is you. You're not lucky. It's crisis. They're going to fire the one that is least efficient. So it's not that you're unlucky or unlucky. You haven't put in the right work and care and love, And many, many, many times, oh, my relationship is bad, my partner, Now, what have you done for your relationship? Why are you asking all the time that your partner should do that for you? What have you done for your partner? What have you done? Have you done anything different? Have you done anything special? All the time asking. Are you want romance? Are you romantic? No, because he's not romantic or she's not romantic. So one person take up, you're the yogi, be it male or female, you're the one who wants peace, you want romance, so do it to that person. So, and I've seen when people apply that, when they apply non-violence into any relationship, they get it back. You know, I always give the example, for example, in the early days when I used to work with my husband in a business, you know, we had bad days, we had good days, like all businesses. And of course he would come home, oh, business is so bad. Of course, I was studying yoga in the early days, and I go, oh, you should be so negative. Why are you so negative? You know, this is the shallow yoga, okay? The early days yoga. Why are you always negative? Can't you think positive? Blah, 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 both of us, bang, argue, big argument. You know, and I couldn't see it for a long time. Because I thought I was the yogi, you know, a joke there, you know, just look at my face criticizing him. And then, you know, when you practice the 8 limbs of yoga, the impurities dwindle away. And then I realized, if I came home and I really believed I had a bad day, and I walked in and said, I had a bad day, and he shouted at me and said, oh, you're always complaining, da 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 da, you should be more positive and positive. How would I feel? I said, I would feel horrible. He doesn't do that to me, ever. And then the next time he walked in and said he had a bad day, don't do anything. I'll make dinner. Sit down. Relax. You know, turn on the TV. Put your legs out. No, you had a really bad day. Immediately hostility ceases. Oh, no, darling, no, let me come and help you in the kitchen. You know, yeah, it's a bad day, but and instead of argument, it's communication. And then he's telling you about his bad day. And I'm listening instead of criticizing. That's judgment. Most of the time we criticize. Oh, but you shouldn't have done this. And we don't listen. We pounce at the person. It's your fault you had a bad day. Sometimes you just have a bad day. Let them their bad day. Allow them their bad day. The more you resist, the more it persists. You had a bad day? Tell me all about your bad day. You see, 5 minutes later, the bad day is gone. You have changed a bad day for them into a good day. And they'll tell you, thank God for you, because you changed my day. Nice to come home. See the difference. So when you practice non-violence in everything you do, hostilities cease. They stop happening the moment we stop doing this. Our master always said, you point your finger, and there are 4 more pointing at you, and this is the trigger. It's like a gun. So, and this is what most of us do, blame, and that creates a lot of violence. That is violence. There's so many forms of violence that we don't even understand. Another story that I always give my students, and the old students have heard me say this 1,000 times. There was a time when I used to come home from work, and you know, of course my husband wasn't a great cook. I get angry because I was tired, and I had to be the perfect wife, right? I thought in my head I was being the perfect wife. So I'll do the cooking. So what do? I'm angry about doing the cooking. But I have to prove that I'm a good wife to him, because I'm doing the cooking. So take the pots, slam, make so much noise. He'd never come to the kitchen. Can you blame him? And then I would tell him off. You never help me in the kitchen. You say, I'm not a good cook, but I can do something else. Screaming, you expect me to do everything? Do the windows in the shop, walk the shop, do this, and you come up and just that. Oh, what a mouth. Poor guy. God bless his soul. Really, it's true. And then when I read the Gita one day, and I read you know, that I didn't like to wash dishes in those days. In those days I had eczema in both hands, bleeding all the time. I was so angry, you see. I thought, you know, of course I was like comparing my life to my life in Hong Kong. We had maids, I never had to wash dishes, you know, in our house we just called the kitchen. How long can you send me sandwiches? My friends are here and the food left. So my life had changed. I had to adapt, adjust, accommodate. I pretended I was adapting, adjusting, and accommodating. I wasn't really. Because I wanted to appear that I was a good person, that I could do this. You see how we fool ourselves even as we grow through the ladder of yoga till you really have to fine-tune yourself. So I remember reading that there was this priest that when he washed dishes, he used to say, "Oh, cling, 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 God is playing his music for me." So I just loved it, Pratipaksha Bhavana. I loved it. So I remember the next time I went to wash dishes, I was thinking, oh, God is using me to make his music with the dishes, cling, cling, cling. And after that, I've really never had any problems with dishes. Eczema left my hand. The next trip I went to Hong Kong, my mom says, "What happened?" I said, "Mom, my mind, my hand. I cleared my mind, my eczema went." I really had terrible eczema, used to bleed. She feels so sorry for me, and I wanted that pity. I wanted that my poor daughter was married, you know, her hands, and oh, let's fast, and all. I wanted that horrible. It's horrible to want it, you know? Horrible to be so needy. And the more needy you are, the worse it burns. And so nice to go home now and need nothing and just want to love my mother and fuss about her and look after her, you know? It's just such a wonderful feeling not to be needy and to be able to serve someone else. It's a freedom. The cage is off. The cage is off. You're not needy. It's such a nice cage to be free from. So when you start removing all these things, slowly, it takes time. You know, I've been at it for a long time. So some of you are better than me, you know, some of you have done, you know, quicker. So just have the faith that you'll get there. Don't fear it. Just use these techniques. They're really brilliant. They really do work. But you really have to watch yourself. Pratyahara is the practice. That's why Pratyahara is so important. Sense control. Control the mouth. You know, one of the things I used to see is a visual zip here. When the nasty words were about to come out, zip. I literally visualized the zip and I did this. Really worked for me. When my mind would start thinking nonsense, I wouldn't even go to Pratipaksha Bhavana sometimes. I just say, "Nalanie, stop the nonsense. I'm not going to get anywhere with this. So don't keep going with it. Who are you fooling?" And pick up a book, pick up music, watch a TV program, go to the cinema, anything to distract it quickly. And just use that. But first thing I would say, stop the nonsense. You're unhappy means there's some desire lurking. It's an I, me, and mine feeling, and it's putting you in a prison again. Do you want to go there, Nalanie? No, I don't. But I'm angry. So stay angry for a little while and work it out. So I stayed angry for a little while in the early days. Work it out, work it out, work it out until I'm calm again, and then face the world. You know, Master Shivananda used to say, you don't have a right to disturb the world. Why should anybody be disturbed by you? You don't have that right. So if you're upset, close yourself in a room, lock yourself out, get rid of it. When you're ready, come out. I really quite like that. It helped me a lot. It really helped me a lot. But I really believe now that we don't have a right to disturb the world. Sometimes, like you know, a Gurudev said, have anger in your pocket. Sometimes you have to have anger in your pocket. Because when somebody is doing a wrong deed, by condoning it and not showing that by condoning it, we don't feel good about ourselves. So I would either just ignore it, walk away, or tell them, I think it's wrong. They don't like it, that's their problem. And sometimes even feign, pretend that I'm angry. What a lot of nonsense. Go away. And they think, oh, Nalanie's angry. Let them think what they want. Like, let them think it's boring, I'm boring. Let them think I'm angry. I know I'm not. I have to live with myself. And that's what's important. So we all have to live with ourselves. Really try to detach what people think. Do everything for the benefit of that person. Because when you tell them the truth, you're not doing it because you want to put them down. That is the secret. You want them to bring the best in them, as you would your own child. You want the best from your child. You don't want to spoil them, although nowadays a lot of parents are doing that. They don't want to communicate because they're too busy working or partying or doing their classes or doing this, so they shut the child down by giving them what they want. Watch it, when they're 20, you're going to have your problems. Or teenagers, you're going to have big problems. What you put into life, you get back from life. This is absolutely true. Yes.
Nalanie, I find a lot of mean comments and a lot of, I don't know, talking about other people. It's all done in a humorous way. So people are laughing and joking. And if you say anything or if you don't join in, you're the one without the sense of humour. Do you find that?
The only time we laugh like that is when Shanti allows us to. But you know, she gives us some nice stories. We must tell you some Shanti stories, which is done with love. But is it done in nastiness or love?
I find it's done in nastiness, but it's done in a jokey way. But it's bad humour. It's bad humour. But obviously, if you walk away or don't say anything, you feel that other people are thinking, oh, she doesn't have a sense of humour, or she's...
No, you just say, I don't enjoy laughing at other people's mistakes. Full stop. I don't enjoy it. Sorry, guys, you know. I don't find it funny. You do. Perfect. I don't. Accept who you are. You don't. You're not comfortable. It's honest. And yes, you will feel quite alone in it. When you walk this path and you're working in the world, which when I started walking this path, I was really working in the world very much. You know, I didn't really have a choice because you have to make a living, etc., etc., etc. You just really have to learn to detach from what people think about you. You really have to learn that. It's a hard one. It's not easy. It's like Gita said, you have to be very strong. And you have to be very strong in yourself and know why you're doing it. You just don't like it. You're not comfortable. Why be uncomfortable? Why pretend you are comfortable? Isn't it nice? You're not a hypocrite unto yourself. Love yourself for that. And yes, they won't feel that you're part of the team. What can you do? But always be kind and polite to them. Just say, look, you know, what can I do? This is my nature. I don't find it funny. Yes?
Do you think when people do things like that, it's often an insecurity in themselves that they have to try and make someone look a little bit inferior to build their own
Yes, always, always, always. They're always trying to degrade someone. Always. That's why she's sensing that, you see? And they don't really want to be nasty, but they really are in ignorance. She has knowledge, so she can see it. But the people who are involved in it cannot see it because they really are based in ignorance. They really believe that's the only way to be. Take those people when they're unhappy, teach them these truths, you see how they change. And that's the interesting thing. That's why you can never judge anyone. Because you know, if they had the knowledge, they wouldn't be the way they were. They really wouldn't. It's just that they don't. And that's what they know. And that's what their games, those are their games. But she's grown up. She doesn't need those baby games anymore. They're not important to her. Those are games. See? So that's the difference. Pardon?
Do the games harm the other people?
Do the games harm? Yeah. Yes, they do. Because
but then, I mean, I've commented on a similar situation, and it's to do with all men, friends, and I was just told that, oh, but you don't have a blokey sense of humour, that's how we play with each other, and the one who is having it done to him now will do it in 1 minute to somebody else, and it's, in their view, their way of bonding, and I'm a woman, so I don't understand.
But they're doing it in front of they're doing it in front of that person. This is when the joke is about someone that's not there. And about
but that's English humour, isn't it? I've learned that. I really have. My daughter goes, Mom, you have to go to English boarding school to understand this humor. You know, because sometimes I'm around the English and they do these funny things to each other. And, you know, I think it's putting it down. Say, Mom, that's English humor. humor. You know, that's the way they are. Oh, it's a joke, yeah. I'm learning. I'm really learning that. So yeah.
But I think that humor stems from insecurity.
Yeah.
That English humor, which is done a lot in groups, I really, well, maybe I'm wrong, but I
No, not all of that. I have noticed not all of it. No, it's just a culture. It's just a style. It's a style. It's the literature. The English are very rich in their sarcasm, literature, Oscar Wilde. If you go back to the literature, there's a lot of it in their literature. And it's just a way of being, and they really, the secret is, they really don't mean it to harm. You know the difference. That is different. You see, her case is, the person's not there, they're causing harm. Your case is, they're just like, oh, it's a blokey thing, you know? What can you do? I laugh when I go into all these weird kind of things, and I go, okay, I'm ignorant, you know?
Bonding thing.
It's a bonding. It is a bonding thing.
I think that is humour if you're saying it in front of the person and
it's
it's,
humour.
you're having a
It's
laugh
a
and
bonding.
having fun, but this is different.
Yeah, what we do with Shanti is bonding humour. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's a nice difference, bonding. Yes, and
Yeah, like
this
we
is.
imitate Shanti's dancing, but she's not going to take it for
And one night,
Carry on.
yeah. Oh, you know, it's funny. Janaki called me from England today, and she said, "Oh no, you missed that dance at the retreat." I said, "I know." Yeah, you know, she really adds, I would say comic relief when we travel, because she does the most incredible things, and we have Shanti stories, and she loves it, because she really, we're not laughing at her, we're laughing with her, you know, and it's a bonding, and you know, we just know Shanti so well now, we just love her to bits, and you know, she always makes us laugh, and we're so grateful for it, and that's her, you know. She comes in late in the room, and Cornwall, the room is packed, and she thinks she's early. For once, she's got it wrong. She walks in with all of her bags, her glasses up to her, this big thick hat, these big socks, and she goes, oh, I'm like, I can't make her burst out laughing, you know. There's so many stories we can tell you, but that's another day. That's really irrelevant. But we just, you know, and when she's not there, people miss her because she adds that politeness, you know. Some people think it's silly, some people think it's stupid, but most of us in yoga, we just think it's wonderful. She makes us laugh. She comes from a very pure place, you know, and she knows she makes us laugh. I think she likes to make us laugh. That's so fun. And she doesn't mind us laughing at her. You know, Hariom, you saw it, right? And that's a good Pratipaksh Bhavana practice. Every time you laugh, you get upset, you see Shanti doing that. One day we'll ask her to do that for you. So here we got, oh my God, I thought I'd go up to Sutra 41 and we're only on 35 today. Back to the old days. In the presence of one firmly established in non-violence, all hostility ceases. So this is a great practice, you know. You have the classic examples of Saint Francis, Gurudev. If you look at his book, maybe I'll bring it here next time, called Portrait of a Modern Sage, you know, you can see all the animals, how they love it. Even the animals. Even the animals talk to you when you start hating violence. You know, I remember many years ago, I called up the ashram, it was his birthday, and I said to his secretary, Pramanjali, I really want to buy him a really good present. What does he need? Oh, I really want to do this. And she goes, oh, well, he loved a dog. His last dog died. So I said, great, I'm buying him his dog. So they go to the kennels to look for the dog, and the beautiful dogs everywhere. And there's one in a cage that is really wild and ugly and, you know, a mixed mongrel. And he tells Pramanjali, I want that one. Because no, you're not having this one. There's so many beautiful dogs. Nalanie wants to buy your dog. I didn't know. She told me the story later, right? And you must get a nicest one. I want that one. But it's biting and I want that one. Anyway, he as soon as he touched the dog, and the owner of the kennel said, this one is the one to train. As soon as Gurudev touched the dog, come right down, whimpering. So they took him home. So he took him to the ashram where he was living. You know, the dog barks at everybody. Doesn't like anyone. Loves Gurudev. who finally died also. After Gurudev passed away, he also did. But only person he would go near, you know. And then my master, one time what he had said, he said, you know, let's pray for the animals. So I think it was in St. Paul's Cathedral. I have a DVD of it, a video of it somewhere. They had a mass in St. Paul's Cathedral, New York, and each of them came in with an animal. I think Gurudev had a snake on him. It was really quite lovely, you know, to watch that. And so when you practice non-violence, you don't hurt animals, you don't hurt things, you wish the world well, they respond, you know, animals respond. There's a story of St. Francis, as he was passing a village, all the villagers were up in arms. There was a wolf who every day came and attacked their crop, attacked their chickens and their live feed, and they were really upset, the goats. And one day, and St. Francis spoke to the villagers. He said, what's wrong? Why are you all so upset? And, well, we have no life because this wolf steals all our food. We don't know what to do anymore. Now we're a bit worried that he'll attack our children. And St. Francis says, leave it to me. I will speak to the wolf. So they all laugh. They think it's really, oh, St. Francis, speak to the wolf? He's going to get killed alive. He actually goes out to where the wolf is and speaks to the wolf. He says, why are you hurting these people? And he hears the wolf answer, I'm hungry, I need some food. So he makes a deal with the wolf. He says, don't hurt them, don't cause them pain. What I'll ask them to do is every day, at the end of their village, to put some food there for you. And then, will you promise never to hurt them again? And he promised. And so St. Francis went back to the village, told the people that the wolf wasn't going to bother them again. But they didn't believe, so he stayed there for a week. And the wolf never bothered them again. They left the food, and the wolf went. Why? Because animals sense. Those who have animals, how many of you have animals? Yeah, perfect. So you know they sense you. You know, Beata, you came up with a lovely story on Saturday when you did your talk about, you know, can I tell you a story? She was telling us that, you know, she was finding her dog was getting really aggressive. And then, so somebody had told her they knew a animal psychologist. And so she got the number and she called the animal psychologist. And the first question he asked her is, are you aggressive? And she said when he answered her that, she realized she was. So the dog reflects you. Animals reflect your energy. That's why they said when you're frightened, never run, because the dog will chase and attack. Stay quiet and try to stay very calm, and it won't attack. Right? So when you're non-violent, they really respond well to you. So all hostility cease. Yes, Ole, you had a question?
No, I was just thinking maybe you could tell the story about the ants.
Oh, tell the story about the ants, Kamala.
On Mallorca?
Yes, yeah.
Well, we had lots of ants in the house. We were living in the camper, just quickly. And we don't like to spray or chemicals and stuff. And we saw this Samantha Curie. She really speaks with animal. And she says that if you want to speak with them, speak in pictures in your head, because you can't. They don't understand your language. So you see in your head if you want to communicate with the animals. So I thought, right, I'm going to try this. So for 3 days, I was in the kitchen and I saw the ants. I was going to give them 3 days. And if they don't leave the house in 3 days, I was going to bring out the spray. And I promised to feed them sugar in the garden, just throwing out on the lawn. And I was there every day and I saw them with the spray bottle. You know how they crawl up when you spray?
Yes, yes.
And they really, you know, and they left the house in 3 days. Not one ant after 3 days. And my own kid, neighbor, he's like, Swedish crazy people talking. It really worked. We didn't have, and I was just throwing out a bit of sugar on the lawn every day and it was fine.
And then the ants invaded the neighbor's house.
It does work.
It does work. It does. It really does work. I talk to them all the time. I say, please, darling, leave, you know, and he listens. you know. So it does work. So these are some of the things about non-violence. It's such a great practice, you know, in everything you do. And you know, we say God is everywhere in everything. We say it, you know, oh, it's everywhere, everything. Yeah. And then we throw our books and we throw our things. We don't treat anything well. We need to learn to treat everything well. Things last a long time when you look after them well. You know, the pots and pans. You know, just gently treat everything. And, you know, make it a practice. You know, make it a practice. That's what I started to do. Make it a practice. Do everything gently. When you see yourself, oops, no. Don't rush it. You can do it much faster when you do it gently. When you rush, you actually drop things and you get upset, things go wrong. But when you try to, as Master Chinmayananda says, make haste slowly. Make haste slowly. Time works for you. Try it. Time actually stops for you. Make this a practice, you'll really see that happening. It stops. It seems like you've got so much more time and you don't know where it came from. Rush through the day and time runs away and there's very little you can do. So that's another practice. I really would like you. It's already 10 to 8, so I don't know if I should start on the next one. I really like you this week for your homework to do an intensive practice of non-violence. Keep yourself a journal. But to be really honest, get a little booklet. That's the best that you can keep everywhere with you in your pocket or a piece of paper. And every time you are thinking violent thoughts, I don't want you to be angry with yourself. Immediately practice Pratyaksha-bhavana. But mark it down so you're aware. Every time you want something bad for someone or you got a jealousy thought or a greed thought, please don't judge it. Never judge it. Because if you don't judge yourself, you won't judge other people. Just, it's a weakness. What can we do? We're human. Be kind to yourself. We're human. And then you mark it down and you apply Pratyaksha-bhavana. You know, see how you would like to do it better. And make it a competition for yourself. It's really quite fun when you make it fun. It's not a hard thing to do when you make it fun. You know, it only becomes horrible when you start judging yourself and there's all this guilt rubbish that I can't deal with, you know. Don't waste time on that. Please don't waste time on that. Mark it and observe. And say, this week, you know, your thing should be not asking, you know, like Kennedy said, don't ask what the world can do for you. Ask what you can do for the world. Without expecting anything in return. Without expecting anything in return. Okay, that's the secret. This is a really hard practice. Practice it all week. Try to do nice things all around you. Surprise people. Do really incredible things and see how good you feel. Also say nice words. Get up in the morning. Say it. Don't only think it. You know, I'm grateful for my day, because that could be quite fake if it's just in your head. It can be quite fake. You remember I told you the early stages of yoga I went through? Quite fake. Okay? When it gets deeper, the practice gets deeper when you're also able to say the nice words outside. You know, I love that you did that. Oh, what a nice quality. And when you start to say it, you start to see the nicer things in people too. Because as you think and say, then it becomes real. Start to work that in your life. You know, in your job, everywhere you're, yes, okay, the job's not perfect, but you know what? I am going to love today. I'm going to look at the best quality in this person. Sure, I'm not working with people who are nice, but you know what? I'm going to look at their good points. I'm not going to, you know, get involved with their negative. When they're negative, I walk away. When they're positive, I'm really chatty with them. And that's how you do it. You bring up their positive and you don't work with the negative. You ignore it. And make that your practice all week. You see what a difference it makes to your life.
Positive affirmation does a lot as well.
Yeah, positive. But this is even more powerful than positive affirmation, because I know people who do positive affirmations and it becomes rote. Every day and every way I'm getting better. Do you know? They get into a rote, but it's not here and it's not here and they're not working from here. So when you have the affirmation, you speak it, you act it, you be it. It becomes one with you, then it's you now. Now you're living spiritually. Too many people speak it, even think it, but they don't do it. They don't have the courage to be kind. I don't know why they're fearful. Rejection, I don't know what it is. But so many people just don't do the kind act. Say, oh, but I thought it. I said, what's the point of thinking it? You know, people who say, somebody said, one person used to tell me all the time, oh, I did my best. And I go, did you really? What is your best? Sitting there and doing nothing? You are thinking you did your best, but have you really got up and done your best? Have you got out of your way to make it your best? Very easy to say. People say, but this is the way I am. Yeah. All the criminals can say this. This is the way I go on killing. It's not the way you are. Cop out. Excuse. Total excuse. Who are you? I am truth, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Who are you? Divine beings having a material existence and an experience to learn about your spirit. And you keep telling yourself that all the time. That's who you are. And as spirit, as soul, you are dynamic. Whatever you need will come to you when you work from there. Anything you need to get strong will be given to you. You will get it, but you have to work from there. You work from here, it's not going to come. Smart words, clever things just don't work. But what works is when you really feel it from deep within. That's when the transition happens. Not the fake yoga, the real yoga. But we have to go through the fake yoga to get into the real yoga. It's just a process. It's a journey. There's no judging. We all have to go through it. Look at the party story, like you said. How many people feel the same, have the same story? It's just a journey, and it's really nice to know, I walked this road. This is an easy way. Don't make the same mistakes, but make the teachings go into every pore of your body by practicing them intensely in the beginning, intensely, until they become part of you. And then you don't need to, one day you'll get up and it'll just be natural. It'll be so natural. Even if you said something hurtful, you suffer so much for hurting somebody, you just can't do it anymore. You just can't. Because you can't bear to have hurt someone or caused someone pain. It's that painful. It becomes that painful. And that's when you really made a transition in your life. Not because of anybody else, because you yourself feel so connected to the source, you don't want to break it. For anything. You just don't. And ahimsa is one of the greatest laws, non-violence. So practice that this week, all right, for your homework. And it's really rainy, so I'm not going to keep you long. Next week I promise to go a little faster.